solve equations by combining like terms. So what are terms? Well, a 1 is a term, a 2 is a term, an x is a term, a y is a term. You can even combine things like 3x is a term, or 4xy is a term. They're all terms. And terms are separated by addition or subtraction signs only. So if I did this, if I did 3x, y, z, that's one term. There's no plus or minus. But the minute you see a plus or a minus, then you have two terms. Right? So how many terms do we have here? Just one term. There's no plus or minus. But the minute you see a plus or a minus, then you have two terms. Okay? Now, like terms have the same letters or the same numbers. Like 3 and 5 are like terms because they're both constants. So you can combine them. But 3x plus 5 are not like terms. They might have the same, they're numbers, right? They're in the family of numbers, constants, but this has an x to it. So the only way you can combine these is if 5 had an x. So you can't combine them, so that would be the answer. So if you had, say, 3x plus 5x, well, you can combine them because they have the same letter. It'll be 8x. Right? If you had 4y plus 5x minus x, well, you can only combine the x's. So this will be 4y and it'll be 4x. Because 5x minus x is 4x. So again, when you see a plus or a minus sign, you have a new term. So that's one term. So 3x plus 4m is two terms. 3x plus 4x, they're two terms, and you can combine them to 7x because they have the same x. 3x plus 5y are not like terms. 3 and 5 are, but 3 and 5 are both constants, but over here you can combine them to 8, but you can't combine them here. Don't combine them if they have different letters next to them. Remember, this is the coefficient, and that's the variable. So let's look at this. How many terms are there? There's 3, right? It's separated by a plus or a minus. So there's 3 terms in here, but none of them are the same. They're not like terms. You can't combine them. So that would be the final answer. So if you look at this, here we have 4 terms, right? They're separated by pluses or minuses, but here there's only pluses. And only the 8 and the 4 you can combine because they're constants. So you'll have 12 plus x plus y, and you can't do anything else. So that would be the answer there. If we look at this, we have 4 terms again, but we can combine the 3 and the 4. It's 3x minus 4x. Remember, 3 minus 4 is negative 1, so you'll have a negative x. Or a negative 1x. You can put the 1 if you want. So here it would be 12 minus x minus 6v. Can't do anything else. And there's 3 terms. What about over here? You think you can combine anything? We have 3 terms. Now they both have an n, but you can't combine them because this has an n squared. So the exponents have to be the same also. You can't combine these because of that square exponent. So over here we have 30x minus 5 plus 4r plus x minus 12. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. You can combine the 30x and the x, and you get 31x. You can combine the minus 5 and the minus 12. Minus 5 minus 12 is minus 5 plus minus 12. Remember, keep change with subtraction. And you'll have 31x minus 17 plus 4r. Minus 5 plus minus 12 is a minus 17. 3 terms, but you can't combine anything else. Now here we have minus 7n minus 3 plus 12n minus 9. You can combine the n's. So a minus 7n plus 12n is a 5n. And a minus 3 minus 9, minus 3 minus 9, remember, keep change. Keep this sign, change the subtraction to plus, and then you change the sign of the positive to a negative, so you have a minus 12. And that would be the answer. Okay, so if we had this, equation here, so let me just write this again. All right, so this, if we had a 9g minus 5, remember, keep, change, we'll get a plus everything. So it turns into that. So we want to get the g alone. We have now a 9g plus 5 equals 13. We want the g alone, so we have to get rid of the 5 and the 9. So get rid of any minus or plus first. You do the opposite operation, so we minus the 5 on both sides. Now we have 9g equals 8. The g is not alone yet, so we have to divide out the 9 because this is multiplication. Anytime you have a number next to a letter, it's multiplication. So now you divide out the 9, and there's your answer. G equals 8/9. You can turn that into a decimal if you want. Okay, what if we had 6x minus 7 plus 5x minus 9 equals 20? Well, let's combine first. So the 6x and the 5x become 11x, and the minus 7 minus 9 becomes minus 16. Remember, minus 7 minus 9 is minus 7 plus minus 9. Keep, change. So over here we did the opposite operation. We added the 16 on both sides, and we had 11x equals 36. Divided out the 11 on both sides, and this is our answer. So you should rewind the tape if you didn't understand that. Here we have a problem with where we can use the distributive property. So we distributed the 6 and the 3. So 6 times 3n is 18n. And 6 times minus 2 is a minus 12 equals 16. So again, we're going to do the opposite. We get a plus 12 on both sides, and we have 18n equals 28. Divide out to 18, and here's our answer, 28 over 18. Now sometimes you might see a square root sign. You might find an x squared. Do the same operation here. You're going to do the opposite operation of minus 20 is plus 20. So we have x squared equals 25. So we want to find x, not x squared. So if x squared is 25, regular x will be the square root of that answer, which will be 5. So you should know square roots. For example, if we had, let's do the square root of 36, for example. The square root of 36 is 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. So what's the square root of 49? 7. 7 times 7 is 49. What's the square root of 100? 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So that's the square roots. Great job.